guys, Long Haul Larry, well, wait a minute, we're not in Big Blue, we're in 797. Starting our list of repairs on here. First on there was the CB antenna. Wants a new end on here, but he picked up the ends and they're only a single end. So these are not going to work because there's two antenna wires and they come together. You can't put these in here because the small wire here has to go through the center, and it usually sticks out over here, and you put a little piece of solder on here. And then these inside, and then there's a plastic coating that separates them. And then these outside wires right here, they go on the outside, and there's like a little metal ring that goes over the top of it, and then you clamp it, and that's your ground. Well, if I put both of these together, these two center wires are going to touch this ground, so it's not going to work. There's special connectors that two wires go into one. So I'm going to leave that tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll run down to Fleet Pride and see if they have one. But he's only got the single ones. So now we're doing the shifter, and the shifter's right here, and you can see basically the knob just broke right off of it. Came off of it, and so the boss has a new one. Pretty simple. There's two little screws in there. They're T20, yeah, T20 bit little screws, and then this plastic part comes off, and then it's got two lines. You have your black line over here, and you got your yellow or your red line on the other side there. So, and then there's a nut right here, a jam nut that you loosen up, and then this will turn off. So we'll get to replacing this. Just found a pretty big air leak up there too. I had actually the same exact air leak. Here we go. One shifter changed over. So now I am going to install the right weight scale since I'm in here. So I'm going to start pulling this dash all apart. I'm going to have to run hoses all down and out the firewall and all that stuff. So get going with that. Alright guys, we got our lights all hooked up. You can see the lights are on there. Turn the key off, lights go off. So we got our lights all hooked up, we got our wire, we got our hose ran, we got the wire for this thing ran on down. And this thing's kind of neat. You can actually change the background color just by pushing that button. You can have blue, purple, blue, green, darker green, red. So there you go. So the driver will have to calibrate the scale. It's pretty easy actually. You just pull up onto the scale, and it works really good if you have a CAT scale app. And you pull up on the scale. The scales are actually perfectly level. They build them that way, so they get an accurate read. When you're up on the scale, and if you have the CAT scale, your weight will come up on your phone, and then you just put a small little flat screwdriver in here, and you turn this until this gauge reads exactly what your app is telling you at that moment. You don't want to pull off the scale. You want to calibrate it when it's on the scale. Some of these guys have been doing this and stuff, and they calibrate it, they scale their load, and then they pull off into the parking lot someplace, and then they sit there and mess around and turn this dial and set it to where, you know, the scale just said what it was. Problem is, the parking lot's not level, and so you're calibrating it wrong. You have to calibrate it when it's perfectly level. And then afterwards, when you want to check your weight and stuff, you got to be real careful and look at the spot that you're parked at, because parking lots may look level, but they're not. They're made at an angle so that water runs off of them. So you wouldn't think it would affect it much, but it does. So you got to be level to get an accurate read. And a lot of times when I'm going down the road and stuff, you'll see, this thing will bounce around. This needle will go back and forth a little bit as I hit bumps and stuff. But you can kind of see the average of where the needle goes, and that's, you know, it gives you a good reading too. So I just got to button this dash all back up and plug in that following too closely thing, and just put it all back together. Alright guys, we got our right way scale set up in the truck now. Lines all run back and everything. Next on the list is we're going to replace the throttle actuator, which is this. Even though it looks like it's brand new, it really does. I didn't change it last night because I wasn't sure. Maybe the boss was confused on what truck he was talking about. I said, "You sure this one hasn't been replaced?" And goes, "Nope, that one's been on there since I've had the truck." It's kind of amazing because it looks like it's brand new. Come on, hose. There we go. There we go. Clean that out a little later. So this is the part that we need to change out. The big major thing is that we need to make sure that I don't break these bolts off. That's what happened in my truck. Is I had to get this replaced up in Sheboygan, and they snapped the bolt off, and I took off, and the truck was hardly even running. And they didn't even say nothing to me about it. See. Guess we're going with 10mm. Well. Yeah, I didn't think it would. But I thought I'd give it a shot. I gotta get a small extension. Alright, we are not gonna put a lot of force on this, because it is a steel bolt going into an aluminum housing. Okay? If we don't hear that come loose, then we just stop and we'll get the torch out. Okay. Last one. Good deal. You got her. I like not having broken bolts. set that to the side. And got our lock here. Ouch. I'm going to stab myself. Oh, somebody didn't lock it. Let's see here. It's always an adventure figuring out which way the plug locks. Yep. There we go. So there you go. There's your throttle body actuator. And it just has some O-rings on it. There's one on here, one on the other side. And I'll go get, and I'll get the new O-rings and everything and clean all this up and put it back together. Alright, we got her all cleaned up. Put our connector back in there. Got a little silicone dielectric grease in there. So holds everything where it should be. I got some anti-seize on there, so this ever has to come back apart again. Wouldn't end up with a broken bolt like I had and stranded out there on the road. The only way I actually got that going, they weren't going to do anything with me. I ended up going to Milwaukee. Nursed the truck down there, and I went into this place and they weren't going to do anything. I was there for hours and hours, and all they needed was a bolt, but they didn't have this exact bolt or something. And these guys were just going to order it, and I was going to sit there days for waiting for a bolt. And then I went in there later on, and I saw a guy that I used to work with when I was a mechanic, and he worked there now, and he was kind of like a second shift kind of foreman or something like that now. And I saw him, and I'm like, when we started talking, he's like, what you doing here? And I told him what's going on, and I'm like, I don't, you know, you guys have trucks out back that are smashed and everything else. I just don't understand why somebody can't go back there and just pull one bolt off of that one of those trucks, get me running and out of here, and then when you guys order this thing, and when it comes in, then you just you know, go out there and put a new bolt in there. And he's like, I don't know why they're not doing that either. It makes sense. So he called one of the mechanics in there and kind of yelled at him and stuff. So-and-so said we're supposed to just wait. He's like, just go get a bolt. And he actually got me out of there. Otherwise, I would have been sitting there waiting for days for one of these bolts. It's crazy. So, it's a good thing I knew him. And there we go, boys and girls. We got our charge air cooler tester all hooked up. Got almost 20 pounds of pressure in there. Not seeing anything leaking, hearing anything. Needle's not moving. We're good to go. Well guys, we got found an air leak. We fixed that. We found another one that we can't fit. We don't have a fix that we. It's one of those quick connects that I don't have a fitting. It's a special fitting. Tried cutting off the hose and putting it back in. Just didn't work. Got the coolant lines changed. I found another leak with that and was able to fix that too. We're just moving on down the list, and next is this U-joint. Go. Use this U-joint puller here, or press, whatever you want to call it. The muffler is right in my way. Why would they put a silly muffler right there? It's just, it is, this muffler is just in such a bad spot for me. Go. There we go. There's the U-joint. So let's put the new one in, cook everything up, put it back together, and then what's left on the list? I believe check the differential levels. I already did the tranny. Check the differential levels, and then mud flaps, I believe. Well guys, we have gotten 797 pretty much complete. This catwalk, got this all fixed up, all secure again. and it was held on by zip ties. It was just flopping around, held by zip ties. Back here, I checked all the differentials, topped them off, transmission, greased everything, and I installed some new mud flaps. So now we got new mud flaps on here. These are those same ones that I put on 796. They got the little reflectors built into them. Only thing though is they don't come with bolts. So got those all done. So I guess we can go through the checklist here. Let's see, replace CB antenna plug. Couldn't do that. He couldn't find me the right plug. That takes 2 wires into one. So he's gonna have to order that. Install right way scale, check. Install intake valve actuator, check. U-joint, backup transmission, check. Check for air leaks. Yep, I found an air leak up there. I can't fix it. It's a quick connect. It's a special quick connect. It's got a special other end on it. I sent him pictures of it, and he said, you know, I just had it in a TA, and they said they fixed that. Nope. Check for air leaks. Replace coolant lines, and I found another leak. Test charge air cooler, that's good. Replace mud flap, coming in, those are here, I put them on, replace the mud flaps. Check the differential fluid levels, all good. And the last thing is if you have time to switch the bumpers. Well, we talked about it. I'm not going to do that right now because my new bumper's not here yet. It's on its way, so probably next time I come out, my new bumper will be here. It's kind of silly for me to unmount this bumper, take mine off, put mine on here, put this one on mine, and then again in the future take that one off mine and put the right. So we're gonna wait till mine comes in, take mine off, and then I gotta do some repairs and paint mine and stuff, and then it's less moves. So there we go. So I'm gonna write some notes on here of need a CBE antenna plug, and need that new check valve or fitting for the air thing. I already sent a picture. He knows about it. It's like a thing that he has set up. It's like notes or whatever, where I check them off and it actually goes to him. I don't know how he does this. It's very technical savvy, this guy. I'm not. He's actually got a computer over here now too. I don't know what he's planning on doing that. I think it's something to do with work orders or something. And it's white. I was like, not a good choice in a color of a computer for a shop, but whatever. But I'm going to get 792 in here and perform a couple things on the list on that I can do. And then I got to get out here. I got to go deliver a load tonight. Well, how rude. My camera decided to die right as I was talking. But we got 797 all taken care of. Just a couple little things. And I pulled in 792. Knocked out everything on the list on 792, added a couple things I found, and he will, the only things I didn't do on the list is he wanted mud flaps put on there. And those mud flap brackets that I'm installing, they don't come with any bolts. And I have bought a few bolts. I had a couple little bins with just a few little stuff. He was talking about getting some Fastenal or something in there. I don't know. But I don't think he needs all that. But I just had a few little stuff, and I used everything up on 797, so I had no bolts to even do that. So I just told him that it had to be done next time or something. So I'm heading off to Costco, delivering this load that I ran out and picked up today. And then in the morning, when I get empty, I'll be taking off from Mount Crawford, loading up, and heading back to Wisconsin. So I hope everyone out there is having themselves a great day, great night as they watch this here video. And if you're not, we're certainly going to try that all over again tomorrow. I will catch you guys later. I need to get out here and give me a few hours of sleep. I'm tired.